episode of Playing Telephone. I'm Scarlett Sanchez.
I'm Dennis Kluba.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Having a good day.
Yeah.
Your day's been okay?
It's been great actually. Worked out this morning, went on a little
Nice.
walk, just doing some different things. How about you?
Yeah, today was good. Just busy at work and had a good weekend. Nice time at the pool. Some walks on the Venice boardwalk.
Right.
You know, just the usual. It's been so hot here. Not to get into the whole weather thing, but like I go out on little walks while I'm
Humid.
at work, and I'm like breaking a sweat the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice. Actual summer. Our June gloom has finally left us, so it's been good vibes.
Toasty.
Toasty for sure.
But unfortunately, our first story of the day is like super unbelievably sad. Angus Cloud, most notably from Euphoria, passed away yesterday.
Yeah, Monday
at 25.
morning. Yeah, only 25 years old. This is such sad news. I was really sad about it. I'm a huge Euphoria fan, which you definitely need to watch the show.
No, yeah.
Maybe in his honor. But yeah, he was only 25 years old. He was found unconscious in his Oakland home. He grew up there. He's from there. And there was a call around 11:30 a.m. from his mom, and they said that they had found him unconscious and it was a possible overdose.
Yeah.
And later on, they released a statement saying that, you know, obviously they'd lost such an important person, and he'd recently gotten back from Ireland for his dad's funeral, who had just passed away in May, and he'd been struggling coping with that loss.
So his dad passed away in May, and he was in Ireland just kind of trying to
So his
deal
dad,
with it, or no?
his dad grew up in Ireland, so they have a lot of family there.
Right.
So they had the funeral service over there in Ireland. So his whole family went, and then he'd recently come back after it.
To Oakland, yeah.
Yeah, back home to Oakland, and he has his own place, but he'd been staying with his family since he was having such a hard time after losing his dad.
Dealing with it. Yeah, I can completely imagine. Yeah, I think that's really sad. I think you said in the statement that he had struggled with potential mental health kind of scares in the past that maybe had led, to this.
Yeah. He's been open about his mental health in other interviews as well. But his parents had kind of insinuated that he'd been battling, or a source close to the family, so I think it was someone in the family as well, had said that he'd struggled with suicidal thoughts also since coming back from Ireland. So I'm not sure if it's been something that he's always, kind of talked about necessarily, about suicidal thoughts. He's been open about like mental health struggles, but not necessarily suicidal thoughts. So I don't want to completely say that, but definitely after losing his dad, that was his best friend. His family just said that the only kind of peace of mind they're having is that they'll be reunited and that, he can go spend time with his dad now.
It's unfortunate. I feel like, it's kind of interesting just with the family kind of saying what they recognize was a really difficult thing for Angus going through his, father passing away.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, that's an unbelievably difficult situation for any family, or son. But I'm just interested, if if them recognizing that, if it was like they had kind of had feelers out there of, hey, somebody should probably stay with Angus at all times, or if it really was like you saw the signs late after it was already too late of, oh, we should have known, to be way more, I don't know about way more attentive, but it was this, detrimental to his mental health and had these suicidal thoughts. It's always woulda, coulda, shoulda, like what could you have done better? But
sometimes those situations are so hard though, because it's like monitoring someone 24/7 is like almost an impossible thing to do, and especially with somebody who might have access to different kinds of drugs, and if it was a possible overdose, which it is seeming like it was, or not, it's not clear if it was intentional or not. So I mean, he could have just been using and then accidentally overdosed. But he actually was at a party a few days before he had passed away. He had flown up to the Bay Area. He was friends with a rapper who had an album release party.
Okay.
And people there said that he was like in pretty good
Decent spirits.
Yeah. And typically though, he's a more, not serious, but he's also just like funny and a little silly. And they said that he was acting like himself, but that one of his friends did mention that he had mentioned that he was upset about his dad, which is understandable considering you just came back. But I don't know if that would necessarily make you think, oh, you're potentially in danger of hurting yourself.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. As a friend, somebody saying that they're upset about obviously losing a family member that's so close. You're like, of course.
Right.
So it's not like that's necessarily like it's a very normal response that as a friend, you're not like calling 1-800 suicide helpline because you're like, hey, you should, that makes sense that you're upset.
Yeah.
And going through the grieving process, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I guess we've already been seeing a ton of people like tributes and all of that. Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney and a lot of other people. Also his brother from the show, Ashtray is his name on the show, and him and Fez, which is like one of the most popular scenes in Euphoria in the season finale. Originally, Fez, which is Angus's character, was supposed to die in it, but there's this big shootout where Ashtray actually dies. It's a really emotional story.
Yeah.
Sorry for spoiler alerts, but they actually kept it and changed it the night before filming that last scene because Angus was such like a beloved character and everybody loved him and wanted to keep seeing him. It'll be interesting to see what Euphoria is supposed to do. They had said that they weren't going to continue, but then had also said they're going to film more in 2026. So obviously that's so far away that they have plenty of time to figure that out and what to do with his character.
Yeah, I think something that's really interesting, because I saw that as well, of like them reshooting or filming in 2026 was also just like those characters, the people that play those characters at that time will be 3 years older.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the talks too were about, like, who's not Sydney Sweeney, but Maddie's character.
Oh, yeah.
Is like gonna that time be 35 or something. And
oh my gosh,
it's like, how do you play maybe it's possible, but it'll be interesting. Obviously, I think that if you were on that cast, I feel like that would almost be more incentive to film another season.
Yeah.
To like kind of like say what, in remembrance or in honor of Angus Cloud and his character, just to kind of like close that chapter. It'd almost be like closure versus them not doing another season and being kind of like, okay, we don't know. He didn't get like the proper send off, I guess.
Right. Well, that's why I brought up that scene, because it is kind of crazy. Like the fact that they
switched it last minute.
It almost saved him in a way. And then now he's passed in real life. But yeah, that's a good point. Kind of doing it in remembrance of him. And especially with the topic of the show too. It's so focused on drugs. And a lot of people thought it was like too much drugs, and it was, a difficult show for a lot of people to show, and almost glorifying drug use at such a young age, which Angus has talked about. And he said that it was good to bring awareness to that and to have that type of conversation. So yeah, I think that could be a really good thing to do that in his honor, and, maybe even bring up his character and his possible death.
Yeah, completely.
Which will be deep and heavy, but that's also totally how the show operates. So.
Yeah, and it's also really sad, obviously, with him only being 25 years old. We just don't know all the different work that he potentially could have done, in his own life and within Hollywood. And,
And he'd actually been working on some projects. One, he'd finished filming. It's a thriller. It's kind of supposed to be similar to Scream. They'd wrapped production and everything. So that's supposed to be coming out sometime next year.
Yeah.
They still obviously have to do some post with that. And there was 2 other projects that he was working on too. So yeah, I mean, obviously we might still see him on the screen, which I always find, kind of interesting too.
Yeah, like post-human.
Yeah, we see that a lot of times with musical artists. But it obviously happens too.
I feel like this year overall, though, like as far as like things that have been unfortunate within the industry, like I feel like there haven't been, knock on wood, that many really untimely deaths that we've been super concerned about. We know that
like Takeoff was like a big person that was super young.
End of 2022 though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that.
So that way,
that was last year.
I was just thinking about going through this year. If when they do kind of the end of the year with the Oscars or the Emmys, you kind of see all the people that we've lost within the entertainment industry. I feel like I said, hopefully there's not more. I'm not, putting that out there.
Hard. I mean, so many people do.
Exactly. That it's like, thankfully it's only been. Hopefully we can keep it limited, because nobody ever wants to see people at that young of an age pass away.
But just with you saying that, it's a lot of people on Twitter and social media are drawing so many comparisons to Mac Miller too, who passed away a few years ago when he was only 26.
Yeah.
And also drug-related fentanyl overdose.
They also look so similar.
And they look so similar.
Yeah.
Like people had always wanted Angus to
play him in
a biopic, which he'd always said that he wasn't interested in doing that. But I don't know. Twitter had an interesting conversation where some people said it was super disrespectful to be bringing up, you know, another person in the time of someone else's death, where another person was mentioning, and a lot of people were actually having similar opinions, though, too, that it was just such high respects for both artists in different ways and in their own right. But yeah, a lot of people were bringing him up again. I think just kind of with what you're saying, just another sad death, and it kind of reminded them of that, too.
Yeah,
young age, drug related.
I think that whether people like it or not, within the entertainment industry, whoever those stars are that kind of music, acting, dancing, etc., they, like, whoever die at that kind of young age, you get by like association lumped together into this conversation that always gets brought up, right? Whether it's
well, they have like the 27 Club too.
Yeah.
Or also he did a video with Juice WRLD, who passed away super young too, 26 or 27, I think it was. Also drugs though too.
So yeah, that's something obviously that's really shaken up a lot of people at the start of this week, and something that will definitely be on people's minds for a long time to come. And hopefully, you know, the family, especially with such two like huge deaths within their family in such a short amount of time, hopefully they can try and recover as best as possible and honor both of them.
Absolutely.
But in other trends that have terribly been happening throughout the entertainment industry as well, Cardi B was the next victim of getting things thrown at her on stage, but this time she actually did a little bit of retaliating, which I feel like most people haven't done.
I don't think anyone's retaliated the way Cardi B has.
No.
She said, nope, not on my stage. There's a little bit of a twist that we'll get into in a second. But yeah, so she was performing in Las Vegas at Dre's nightclub, or Dre's club, because it's actually outside.
It's a day club,
It was during the day when this happened, but she was performing. Pretty sure it was to Bodak Yellow, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to replay the song in my
your head. Yeah.
But somebody they had a little styrofoam cup and just threw this. It looked like water to me, but now it's come to light, I think, that it was possibly alcohol,
vodka,
or
tequila,
ice,
or
whatever. There was some sort of beverage thrown at Cardi B's face.
Sure.
In response, Cardi B proceeded to chuck her microphone at this person's face, which ended up hitting, like, I think 2 other people too.
I mean, microphone's hardcore. Is a microphone heavier than a phone though? I don't think so.
No,
but it's bigger.
Depends where you get hit. I mean, T-Rex got hit in the eye.
That's what I'm saying. A phone to the eye, that hurts, I think.
That hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Microphone's pretty painful too.
In this situation, I want to know your response. Are we supposed to condone violence?
Sorry, is that a serious question?
I'm just saying, at this point, people are throwing things at you. I know we should rise above.
So it was.
I know we should rise above.
It was a drink.
Okay, drinks in the club. Fighting words.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? That means you want to fight me? If you throw a drink at me?
Somebody throws a drink in your face at a bar.
I don't condone violence. I'm not going to hit anyone.
No fun. You're not chucking that mic?
Not chucking a mic. The only time I will throw hands if you throw hands at me first.
Okay.
Put a finger.
Self-defense.
And all it needs to be is a finger. Can you imagine?
Boom, bop.
Tap, tap.
Got my face. But if anybody was going to throw something back at the crowd, it's Cardi B.
Yeah. Okay. The only little twist here. So first that story comes out where she throws the drink. Cardi B throws the microphone. Okay.
Right.
Rewind. Let's go forward a little bit.
Oh, forward. Fast forward. Okay.
Well, backwards.
Whatever.
And Cardi B asked the crowd.
Yeah, I saw this.
Hey, like, it's so hot. Like, Vegas was apparently like in the 90s, probably the hundreds actually.
Yeah.
Very hot. I mean, it's hot here, so Vegas is the desert.
Desert, yeah.
So very hot. And she tells people, like, please, like, throw water on me, cool me down.
Yeah.
And she's like, says something about her WAP. and says throw it right at it and everything. And yeah, I mean, she was encouraging the audience to cool her down. So everybody started throwing water at her, and there's videos of water getting thrown on her.
My thing was, and that I saw with that was, it didn't seem like we knew when that video was of the person throwing the drink or, the styrofoam cup that Cardi then threw the microphone.
Yeah.
If that happened before or after she had that whole...
But wouldn't that be weird for it to be after? I get what you're saying. Totally. We don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be really weird to get hit with water in the face, get really mad at it, throw a microphone, and then say, okay, everybody, now go ahead and throw water on me? Am I mistaken with that? Or why would you want to invite people to continue to throw things at you after you were just so mad that something hit you in the face?
Here's the other thing.
It's the potential of getting just as mad again.
If I throw my mic at somebody, I think the show's over too.
No, it wasn't though.
She got the mic back and kept performing.
I don't know if she got the same mic back.
A different mic back.
Different mic.
That's wild.
She lost the main mic though.
Side mic.
Stage mic.
Mic to stage one. My whole thing though is that I could see it where there's a difference between when you tell people to throw water on you, like she was saying.
Yeah.
I get what she was saying there. Got it. People threw the water, whatever. If later, out of context, somebody throws their drink at you, I think that it's like, that is not the same as what I just asked people to do.
Yeah.
And that's where I could see myself getting mad. And that she's not oblivious. She's been seeing other things happening around the industry that we've talked about, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't you think as a performer, there's a certain thing inside of your brain, like, swear to God, the first person throws something at me,
I'm going to throw something back.
I wouldn't be surprised if she had that thought process.
Yeah. I mean, got to protect yourself.
Condone violence. That's why I always keep a mic on me.
Protect yourself from the liquids. Like, what?
Yeah.
Of all things?
I don't know.
I'm thinking...
She's got a short fuse.
I'm thinking maybe it was alcohol, though, because it must have been sticky, gross, right in the eye, got a little bit in the eye, messed up the hair. Honestly, she still looks good after, but...
Throwing alcohol, though, is an insult.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a low blow. It's kind of like, get off the stage. That person got escorted out. But now... Cardi B is under investigation for battery because, okay, so essentially the microphone got thrown at this person, hit off you, and then hit the person next to her. And the person next to this woman that the microphone was originally chucked at
is suing?
That person, yeah, pressed charges against Cardi B.
On
what grounds? No, just kidding. She did get a microphone chucked at her. But I'm thinking you need to have some sort of damages or some sort of medical bills, right? You need something to make it more legitimate. Yeah. So I don't know if the case will get tossed out.
Mental distress, emotional distress.
Yeah, anguish.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cardi B is now under investigation for this.
Also, if you're I don't know, let's say I got sideswiped by this mic.
Okay.
It wasn't meant for me.
Yeah, a little sideswipe. Can't be that bad.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't meant for me. And I have this opinion right now, and I wasn't even there. I didn't even get hit. I don't think I'd be like, hey, I'm pressing charges. Like, I would be like, hey, Cardi, I get it. I would be like, hey.
You would if you think you're going to get money.
I'm also an artist. There's no way I'm getting out.
That's
to
how people think, though. They're going to be like, oh, can I get money for this? Let's press charges. And maybe I'll file a lawsuit.
I'm just understanding in that way. You know me on this show. I'm always the most understanding person. I always take the side.
Let's be honest.
I take the high road.
I'm listening.
And so I just think if I was in that situation, and you're right, it is a ideal situation where you'd be understanding, be like, hey, it's all good, no worries. But maybe if you're looking for a little bit of a payout, you'd be like, I'm pressing charges. And your lawyer would probably be like, don't do that. And you're like, no, I'm going to do it. Maybe a little settlement. A little 20K.
Apparently a little
10K spot.
Cash here and there. Apparently the woman who did throw the drink or whatever it was at her was super apologetic. So I guess that's why she didn't go run to the courts and go file some sort of battery charge. Okay, cool. But also Cardi is so unfazed. She does not care. She was posting a video with Offset on some high-rise building in Vegas, and they're dancing to their new song Jealousy, and she's just like twerking, completely unfazed.
Okay, I have in past not been like, I don't think I've been an openly gigantic Cardi B fan, but I definitely haven't been a hater of her.
Yeah.
I just like, that's why I think her doing this, like, I'm kind of like,
You're liking her more.
I mean, like,
For all the people that are getting crap thrown at them.
Well, I think
reason.
other people, like when BB Rexa, Kelsey Ballerini, they also responded like, BB Rexa got hit and like literally had to like go off stage because she got drilled, had to get stitches. Kelsey Ballerini like had a lighter or something, or I don't know what it was, a bracelet thrown. She walks off for a second, comes back out. Like, I totally respect that move as well. I just don't disrespect, I guess, what Cardi did.
Yeah.
And I almost like it more of like, hey, if you're going to act like this,
get out.
Yeah, like I think that there has to be a line drawn. And right now, if you don't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like, do your bad thing, you know,
You're
Cardi
okay
B.
with it.
Yeah, like I'm like, whatever.
Well, Drake instead just like encourage people to throw other things. He's like, if you're going to throw things at me, bras, please.
What a freak. Yeah.
Bras, please. So that's also can be another way instead of chucking things at people right back, you know?
Yeah.
How about you throw this at me? Money?
Yeah.
Bras?
Do you know how pumped I'd be? And I'm sure, obviously, you know ahead of time that Cardi B's performing. But like, just imagine the euphoria. Just imagine you're at a day club in Vegas. Body's popping. You're just dancing. You got your drink on, and then they're like, "Hey, everybody, Cardi B's about to do a set."
That would be insane.
Do you know how pumped I'd be? And for somebody to be like, throw a drink on the stage, I'm like, I would kill that person.
Yeah,
like,
you would throw the
What are you
microphone.
doing?
Yeah, no. That completely ruins the whole vibe, too. Although it's kind of funny to witness.
See, you're part of the problem. You're the reason that these people are doing this stuff.
No. It's
Because
funny
you're
to
like-
witness Cardi's retaliation, not things getting thrown at her or at BB or at Drake or at everybody. What are you more mad about? People taking selfies in the front row or people throwing things at you at Miranda Lambert?
Miranda Lambert.
Needs to sit down, according to Kluva.
Also, she was like, we raised some hell on that Vegas show. Like, she was like proud of what.
Oh, yeah. She didn't care either. I mean,
Cardi B greater than Miranda Lambert.
this isn't related to the whole Vegas thing.
Right.
But Offset finally cleared up the whole cheating thing. Because remember, he posted on his story and said, Cardi cheated on me. Cardi did her cute little voicemail where she went off on Offset for even accusing her of that, especially considering the fact that Offset.
Regular, degular, schmegular.
Yes, thank you. And he said that it was his friend Tequila that got him into trouble and that he was just drunk and got jealous. AKA, this was all, it's so annoying, all a huge PR ploy because they dropped a song called Jealousy, which is kind of about this.
Oh, they pulled the Beyonce Jay-Z?
Yep, smart. I mean, not quite the Lemonade album, but
that was really upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened.
I don't think that
I've been
cheated.
vocal about that. It was a huge setup.
I mean, she's still with him.
Well, Jay-Z would be so dumb to cheat on Beyonce.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot of hot people get cheated on.
Hey.
It happens.
It happens.
From what I learned of
Not
doing
to
this
us,
podcast
but-
with you is that everybody cheats.
Yeah.
Literally everyone cheats. It's confusing. I didn't know that that's just what everybody does in their everyday life, but it
Scott's
happens.
like, I gotta be cheating more.
Ariana Grande, Mr. Steal Your Man.
A little girl was spotted.
Was spotted in my boyfriend's apartment.
Either way, we'll see what happens with Cardi B if she ultimately gets sued or like settles out of court, whatever happens there. I respect her. I'm here for it. I'm pumped. This is my favorite story of the day for obvious reasons, but another performer didn't have anything thrown at her, but is being sued as well. Mm-hmm. This time by 3 of her backup dancers.
Yeah.
That performer is Lizzo.
Lizzo. We really don't have her.
She's not a mainstay on this show.
We don't talk about her ever negatively either. This is honestly kind of the first negative news I've ever heard about Lizzo.
That's what I was going to say, ever.
It's almost always positive, whether that's body positivity or people just praising her, loving her music, hitting that flute like no other.
Or more or less her responding to hate comments towards her really for no reason. I would say like she's like deflecting. Like
she is very vocal because people have come at her like fat shaming and stuff, and she's been very vocal and hitting people back.
But typically she does it in a responsible, positive way that is not like putting other people down. Like she's just like, hey, like this is part of my message, this is part of my brand, and this is what I believe. And that's what we all thought.
This is what we all thought. So now some new information has come to light. A fat lawsuit was filed against her. I didn't mean it like that. Was brought to light. Okay. Lizzo got sued by 3 of her backup dancers. 2 of them were fired and 1 of them had resigned. But they were part of her reality TV show, which helped recruit essentially people, reality TV show that helped recruit people to be on her tour.
When did that happen? Was that on...
I never watched it, to be honest.
Was it on like MTV or?
I don't know what it was. I want to say Amazon, actually.
Oh, it was definitely on there.
I want to say Amazon, but
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
These things happen though. These instances that the dancers are talking about happened from 2021 to this year, so it's all fairly recent.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah.
But yeah, so they're suing her captain's team, her team captain of the dance team, and Quigley.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. What's her first name?
It's Shirlene Quigley.
Shirlene Quigley. That last name is hilarious. Go on.
Okay, Shirlene Quigley.
And her production company, which I gotta find that somewhere. It's like Big Girls, Big Ideas, Inc.
Well, yeah, because that's what the reality TV show is also. Something Big Girls, which was recruiting people for her special tour, which has been going on the past year or so.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't even know almost where to begin because some of these.
It's about damn time.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's start with some of the sexual ones. Okay.
Let's start sexy and then let's get bigger.
Okay, so one of the big ones that was talked about was they were in Amsterdam and
surely doing a show or on tour.
Some tour stop, and they were there and they had them go to a strip club in the red light district. And while they were there, one of the defendants had said that defendants, lawyer cap.
Defendants are Quigley and Lizzo.
Okay.
Plaintiffs.
One of the plaintiffs.
The 3.
So one of the 3 dancers had said that one of them said that Lizzo was encouraging them to touch the women's breasts.
Yeah, I hate
That was one. Another one was and forcibly almost like do this or you don't have a spot on the show. I don't know if that's to the extent. I don't know if it was to that extent.
Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, this is where it gets gross. Eat the bananas out of the performers' vaginas.
Hoo-has, yeah.
I used the medical term. Those were the 2 big things that I got from the red light district.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously feeling pressured, which brings up the sexual harassment so what they're suing for is sexual harassment, hostile work environment, and I don't know if you can necessarily throw this into a legal term, but like weight shaming.
Well, it's definitely got to be unlawful termination.
Okay.
I'm sure something like that.
Okay.
Man, I feel like for whatever reason, not necessarily usually with a girl, like performer or boss, etc., but I feel like maybe we've seen this before. I don't know if it was like in a movie or something, but I feel like I've seen something similar where it's like just like the whole strip club thing and companies that is never, has never been, will never be a recipe for success.
Yeah, no.
And man, and it was almost
the way that I read it seemed like forced participation. You had to go.
Yeah.
Because there was this Amsterdam show where they were in the red lights district, and then, which obviously people know what the red light district is. And then there was another nude show that they were all not encouraged to go to, but told they needed to be at. So that's one of them, but also just her behavior at dance rehearsals, very long hours. One of the plaintiffs has said that she gets a lot of anxiety, but she said that there was an 8-hour rehearsal where she felt like she couldn't leave at all, and if she left, she could have potentially gotten fired. And she said that she ended up peeing herself on the stage. What? Crazy.
Been there.
And then I have been there. And then I believe it was that same plaintiff too. who had talked about she'd gotten in trouble. She has a medical condition, some sort of eye condition. Yeah, where she wasn't able to attend one of the practices, and she had recorded it instead. Did you want to say it?
No, go on.
So she'd recorded instead. And once Lizzo had found out that somebody recorded the practice or the dress rehearsal, whatever it was some sort of dance practice that they were all supposed to be at, she was really upset and she called an emergency meeting. And I guess she was really like yelling at everyone and wanted to confiscate everyone's phones and said it was completely not okay. And then ended up firing her later on, which I assume is what you're talking about with the unlawful termination.
Yeah.
So that's also a medical condition. 1, 2, confiscating all of their phones, being really upset, screaming at them and saying it wasn't okay. And demanding for them to say who recorded this. So then another one of the plaintiffs had ended up
so juicy.
Had ended up not. This is the one that resigned because
2
of
were
this.
fired, one resigned. Yeah.
And that was the one who resigned was basically in solidarity with the other 2 women.
Well, and is like, bro, I don't want to work for this.
And also I don't want to work for you. Yeah, because then the second plaintiff, who was also fired, had said that she had brought up, she had talked back during one of the meetings because Lizzo had also accused all the dancers of drinking before practice or before one of their rehearsals again. And she'd said like, no, that didn't happen, and stood up for everybody. And then later on she got fired and they said it was because of budget cuts, but she didn't feel like that was the actual reason why.
Yeah. Also in another twist, the head captain of this dance team, Quigley, wasn't her name Shirlene Quigley, during like rehearsals and different things that happened over the course of this tour, pre-tour, I'm sure, she was like giving lectures, almost forcible lectures to the dancers about like her religious beliefs and why they like are sinners and stuff like that for having premarital sex and all these different things, and how they need to basically find God kind of situation. Yeah.
Almost trying to convert them.
Yes, exactly.
And shaming them, you said, for premarital sex?
Yeah. Among other things.
Which is weird. But then the weird part about that too is that her party trick is what they called it was...
Is this Quigley?
Yeah, Quigley. Simulate means like to show or, right?
Yeah, like...
Anyway, she would simulate how to do oral sex on a banana. Oh, there's too many banana instances in this. Here. There's too many banana instances in this. And obviously that would make the whole crew very uncomfortable. So do you know what I'm saying though? Like, how does that really align? Like, let me tell you not to have premarital sex, but then let me show you a sexual act. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't, chastising them for having premarital sex. I completely agree. I think that this is, please, Netflix, if you've done anything right, now is the time to do a documentary on this downfall. Like, what is happening within this camp?
Yeah.
It has to be scenes. Yeah. Absolute scenes.
Yes. And what we were talking about too, Lizzo, huge person of positivity, body positivity, and they're accusing her of also weight shaming, whether that's skinny shaming or fat shaming. We're not sure of those details, but definitely there were comments about these women's weight, which is really disappointed to hear, considering that not only her brand, but she is such a role model that
body positivity.
She wants everybody to be comfortable in their space. So to be now sued for hostile work environment and it to be also related to weight, I mean, among other things, is wild to me.
I don't think, for a while, I don't think we've seen another celebrity be caught in this big of a hypocritical situation, where they're preaching one thing and then they're the exact opposite. And like you said, these are all accusations. This is the lawsuit that's being brought forward.
Yeah.
It will be hashed out within court and we'll see what's claimed to be true and claimed not to be. But at the same time, all of these instances happening and being brought up, we've said it many times, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Some of this has to be true.
I think so.
We don't know to what extent, but it's like, I don't believe that she could get away or come out of this and be like, you couldn't prove any of that. There's no evidence. People will forever be like,
such specific details.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, people can lie about specific details too, but Lizzo hasn't said anything yet.
Quigley hasn't said anything.
It's because it's probably an ongoing case, whether that PR team said to wait, whatever it may be, you have to wait in court. A lot of times whenever there is cases about you, you kind of do have to wait and say something. She still could say, hey, I'm going through this court case, at least address it slightly. I don't know, to at least address it a little bit. But also what you're saying about there being some truth to it. Another backup dancer, a former backup dancer, and also somebody who'd work in their production team. Both people have come forward and said, this is the reason why I don't work for Lizzo anymore.
Oh, so they
backing
confirmed
up the lawsuit. Yeah. And so that they were very uncomfortable with a lot of situations that they had to be in and the type of environment that was created on sets or at practices and everything. So they're 100% standing behind these backup dances. And they're actually kind of praising them too, because they're like a lot of people who are at this kind of caliber and they obviously want to work for such a high profile artist like Lizzo. A lot of times that brings people back and not want to voice their opinion, not want to ruin any potential business opportunities of getting blacklisted. A lot of that goes on in this industry. So they were praising them for having the confidence to do this. And, you know, also finding more than one person can be helpful too, because it just adds more claims. It adds more of a group. So, that was kind of an interesting little part too, to see other people backing it up that aren't involved in the lawsuit.
I'm in like disbelief. Mm-hmm. Like, not that I don't believe that's true. I think that it is true, but just
it has a high potential. Yeah.
To build your whole brand, your music, your whole thing on these pillars, on these beliefs, on this whole thing, and then to do the exact opposite to the people that give their blood, sweat, and tears to make your show what it is. Mm-hmm. I just really don't get that, because I understand, like, obviously going into, you know, being a backup dancer, being a backup singer, or something in the performing industry. You got to touch some breasts.
It's going to, no, not touch breasts. Like, I can see it being very strenuous and
hard hours,
competitive, just very difficult on the body, on your mental health, and all of that. That I completely understand. But then you think of so many other artists like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, they all have teams like this. And
not once have we heard.
You don't hear things like this about every artist. So you can have a very, 8-hour shift. And, I know we're going to be working hard, but I'm going to make sure you guys get breaks. And I'm going to make sure all of this happens, and making sure everybody feels comfortable in that space.
Well, I would argue, too, that those individuals that lead the production groups and, are the artists, they set the tone for what that work environment is going to be like. Absolutely. We've heard stories like Beyonce being, and what she is, and this is so true, she's a workaholic, right? Mm-hmm. She cares so much about the show that she puts out, the tours that she does. And what that means a lot of times is working very late nights. And I'm sure her dancers are with her there. But I can guarantee that within that, she gives them, the apt amount of time to use the restroom, take breaks, eat food, etc. That then in return, that team wants to do great things for that person, as opposed to forcing people to do things that they don't want to do in conditions that are not suitable for anybody to be working in. Then they're going to be like, hey, I'm not going to do this. This is unreasonable. Yeah. So you're right. It is like a character thing that it's clear that she's not the person we think she is, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we have to figure out what's actually said in the court, but this is not looking good for Lizzo.
It also will be even bigger than another artist because her brand is what it is. Like it is so opposite
of what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like it, say Beyonce, for example, I would say that she's a bigger, more of an icon. Yeah. And if something like this came out, people would be like, yeah, it'll be bad. Mm-hmm. But her whole brand isn't built on this idea and then does the exact opposite.
Yeah. I mean, the all of it is bad. All of it. I mean, very disturbing with the sexual things. But the fact that it's so
weight shaming.
The fat shaming and the weight shaming is just not okay. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Crazy.
I know.
Well, I am going to keep a close eye. I hope it's not one of those things where we hear back in a year and a half.
I feel like it will be a while because...
Well, she won't be touring.
All the legal... I think she still is.
I'm going to the shows. The tickets are probably cheap.
Ticket sales are going down.
Me in the front row.
The rowing things at her. What are you going to throw?
No backup dancers.
Feature item.
banana.
Go solo. Lizzo getting bananas thrown on stage.
Not thrown.
Eat it.
Thrown out of my pants.
Ew. Ew.
Ew. But we'll see what happens to Lizzo. This is like one of the biggest stories I feel like of the summer, so I'm pretty pumped about it. But either way, we'll see what ends up happening to her. The last story that we have is Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, who has a friend.
Question
mark. Morgan Wade, country music singer. That they're, like you said, there's a question mark on that relationship. Yeah. Is it more than friends? Is it not? There's no confirmation, but
yeah, not confirmed. Yeah. They have kind of kept it quiet, but also kind of laughed at the rumors, because for the past few weeks, it's been like, are Morgan Wade and Kyle Richards dating? Especially after we found out that she's separated from her husband, Mauricio Monsky, after being married for over 20 years. I believe it's 27 years.
Yeah.
Which even that relationship has been kind of odd, because first they said they were splitting, then they said that those rumors were false, but then they were going to try to work on their relationship. So it's a little bit of question marks even around their relationship, but they spent 4th of July together. We saw them. They said that it's been one of the hardest years, which of course made people go, well, has it been some of the hardest years because maybe Kyle Richards had an affair with Morgan Wade? So there's a lot of speculation and a lot of unknowns, I would say, with what's going on in Kyle Richards' love life. But what we did learn recently, after seeing photos of them in Aspen, so Aspen, Colorado, there was a picture of Morgan and Kyle shopping together. So again, fueled more rumors. She's out on this trip. Where's her husband? Why isn't he there? First of all, we've talked about this. Girls can go on trips without their significant other, and vice versa. Men can as well.
Girls can go on trips.
You can have a trip without your partner. Newsflash, everyone.
Hey, newsflash.
But so they were seeing, but then it came to light that she was actually there to see Morgan's show on Sunday in Aspen. And not only that, because when they first said it, they denied that they were there. Not that they denied they were there, but they denied the fact that they were there to see each other
together. Yeah,
and they just happened to cross paths.
I hate when that happens.
Okay, you guys are really good friends. They've been friends since, or they've only been friends for like a year and a half or so.
Well, did anybody know about Morgan Wade before? Year and a half ago?
Didn't.
No.
I personally didn't. Did you know? Do you know who this is?
No.
Okay.
She like recently got big, like, and that could be, hey, if you're a gigantic Morgan Wade fan and a big Plain Telephone fan, respect. But nationally, I feel like we only knew about her within the past year.
Okay.
Maybe on a regional level, super fans are going to be like, no, she's been around for 4 or 5 years making music. Sorry. Like,
yeah, well, I consider myself a country music person, so I was...
Haven't heard her on the airwaves, on the radio waves. I haven't.
I haven't either.
Okay.
No shade. No. But I'm sure she's a very talented young woman. She's 28 years old. But so Kyle is actually going to be producing a documentary about her life. So maybe we'll learn more about her music in this documentary.
Ugh, throw up. Immediate throw up.
Why?
How many documentaries would you rather see? Let's just put it in country music perspective of just country music stars before her.
Okay, well, I can think of a few.
Of course you could. Why do we need this? Who's going to watch that? It's because Kyle Richards is doing it to get her, I'm just going to call it what I think it is, her new little boo thing, a bigger platform.
Okay.
And it's like when Sugar Daddy comes in to, or Sugar Mommy comes in to help the hot young star become a bigger actress, musician.
Okay, so that was going to be my question, which I guess you just answered, was does doing a documentary for someone mean you're interested romantically, sexually?
Well, if it wasn't, if it wasn't romantic or sexual, Kyle would literally have to be like, this is such a good business idea to do a doc that I think that there will be, I'm going to invest in this person's career because I think that there will be, I'll get an ROI on this.
Okay, yes. And Kyle's never produced before, or is this such a... lower profile thing, this is a good practice, a good start for me to get into producing? Or do you want to start with something huge? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a good start where like I can kind of get my feet in the water of producing, you know, and I can help my friend out. This could be good for both of us. And we can kind of just do this project together and see how it succeeds. And then I can move on to bigger and better things. And in turn with this, maybe Morgan, you'll also get some more media coverage with it.
I hear you. Your intentions are pure and they are, you know, they're amazing. I don't believe that that's what's going on here.
All I heard was, you're amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. That's all you need to say.
I need to communicate more. I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I don't think that this is what that is.
Okay, so you think they're dating?
I think there's something going on there. Dating's we've talked about this many times.
I'm gonna start using that loosely too, though.
Yeah. Okay. They're dating.
They're having fun.
I think it's little sugar baby situation.
Sugar baby. Okay, now you're throwing something completely out there. No one has called us little sugar baby action.
Morgan Wade. What's her career?
She's a country singer.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure she's still making money. I mean, she's touring right now. She had a big old show in Aspen at Belly Up.
You're disproving your own.
Why do you think I said it in that tone?
Guys. No disrespect to Morgan Wade or Belly Up. I'm sure it's a great festival.
I kind of want to go.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
It's a place, not a festival.
It's just very interesting to me that that Kyle is investing in this.
But like you said, investing, I mean, she's a Real House of Beverly Hills. Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. She's got the cash.
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
But I'm going old Hollywood on in a gross way.
No, I think no.
They're dating. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, now they're dating.
Whatever that means to you. I should invest in my girlfriend's career.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, she has some interesting points in her life to talk about, not only country music, but also she's having a double mastectomy, is what it's called. So she found out that she has a cancer gene, which makes her super high risk of
breast cancer
and ovarian cancer. So she's going to have that surgery in November. So they're going to talk about finding out about that. There's also, she's 6 years sober, which Kyle Richards is also 1 year sober. Obviously that's very new for Kyle, but sobriety will be talked about. She's had some alcohol and drug abuse. So it's going to be like a story about her whole life.
Somebody should have told me this before I just shit on her whole existence. Now I look like the devil. You did kind of too, though, because you're like, Belly Up, who are you?
I was just running with it.
And then you're like in your back pocket, you're like, well, she, is double mastectomy.
It actually kind of seems like an interesting documentary.
Well, now I feel the same.
She seems like a cool person.
Damn it.
I just don't follow her music. It doesn't mean I think you're a terrible person or that I don't want to watch a doc about you. But are there other country music stars that I would want to watch first? Yeah. Morgan.
Wallen.
Yes.
Not Wade. Constantly mistaking those two together.
Morgan Wallen. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go see his show again.
Where?
I had to tell you right now.
Where's he still?
So that way you don't get mad
at me. Is he playing Belly Up?
Belly Up and Aspen. No.
New tour date, Belly Up.
Belly Up. Honestly, that name is just good. No, he's performing in DC.
And you were like, yeah, let's go to DC.
Go. Well, I have Friday off. I didn't know. And
you're just going to fly to DC. Who are you going with?
Friends from work.
Your friends were just like, let's go to DC.
Yeah, I mean, we have the day off. We never get days off at work, so we're just going to get on over there. I'm going to go see Morgan for the third time, not Morgan Wade. Maybe, though. I might add her to my list if she's over there.
She's on tour in DC.
Yeah.
That's my take, is I think that they are...
Something's happening there.
Mm-hmm, little action.
We like to call it canoodling.
Canoodling. I think it's so out of left field.
Uh-huh.
I think it's bizarre.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll be around in a year and a half.
Okay.
If this doc actually happens,
I think they're besties, and I don't think the documentary is going to happen.
Okay, we have a lot of takes here. I think they're best friends, and the doc won't happen.
Okay,
I think they're dating, and I think the doc won't happen.
You don't think the doc will happen? Mm-hmm. Okay. The only reason that it might actually, okay, I'm going to add a little bone again. A little twist. They were filming at Sunday's show at Belly Up. So just because they were filming, I guess, doesn't necessarily mean that it'll go through, but it's a higher probability considering the fact that they've, pulled out the cameras, they've started production.
I hope that Morgan Wade becomes a massive country music star so that we can eat our words in the next,
Me too. Honestly, she's probably already on the rise and we just haven't really seen it yet. And these last 10 minutes are going to be
real damning in the future.
Painful.
If I would have known about the mastectomy and the sobriety, I don't think I would have gone as hard in the paint before, but...
Yeah, but someone's past doesn't mean you're going to be, the biggest country star in the world. Sorry. I can respect you for overcoming that, but also, it doesn't mean I have to be your number one fan, right?
That's true.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's too many docs. Too many documentaries.
Not enough docs.
Not everybody needs a documentary.
Not everyone does.
No.
But...
Also, I'm reaching out to Belly Up to see if we can do a show there.
Okay.
Live show.
We're never going to get in. We just completely attacked them and we know nothing about them. Belly
we plugged them pretty hard.
We just want to say
we love what you're doing. We love what you're doing there in Aspen.
It's probably the top place in Aspen, Colorado.
We'd like to belly up to you guys and see about doing some tours.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. See you next week.
Either way, I think that's pretty much all we have outside of the actor that played Pee Wee Herman also passed away this week.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Sunday?
Monday.
As well.
No.
Do me a solid. Figure this out. Sunday?
Broke the news on Monday.
Had to be Sunday.
It was Sunday, though.
Yeah. He's an older generation, so if you...
Pee-wee's Adventure, Pee-wee's Big Holiday...
I feel like we were at the
we were young.
Yeah, we were really young.
Really young. But yeah, he had been battling cancer for 6 years.
Yeah.
Privately, which
people love doing that nowadays.
Yeah, and actually, his note when he'd passed was an apology to his fans for not being open about his illness, which is sweet.
That's good to know though, because I saw that he died at 70, and I did think that was pretty young for to die. So. That's unfortunate. Hopefully his family, like we said, if you've been battling cancer, typically that's something people know is coming.
Right.
It softens the blow a little bit, but obviously still super hard. So but I think that pretty much wraps it up outside of the two bookends that were really sad news.
I know.
We had some real juicy stuff in the middle there.
Yeah, we did. Well, thanks for listening. Follow us at Playing Telephone on Instagram and TikTok. Fun videos and updates are always there. And also, we're now uploading full episodes to YouTube.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.